This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, let's do it. All right, Heat had their draft. Anthony Chiang from the Miami Herald is ready to join us to talk a little basketball. How are you doing, my brother? Good morning.
I'm good, Big O. How are you? Long time no talk.
Good. Very good, very good. You hear from old guys, right, and older ladies that have covered the sports. Like, you see how much more limited access is nowadays, and then you'll hear the older person say, "Damn, dude, back in the day we had access to this, that, and now it's very limited." I don't know if you don't hear it too much, but there's got to be a couple. Ira's still around, so there's a couple of guys around.
I've heard stories from like Ira and other guys saying, "Yeah, we used to just get to go to the hotel bar and sit down with players and have a couple of drinks, or sit down with the coach and have a couple of drinks." And I mean, that's obviously not the case anymore. We stay at very different hotels than the teams these days.
Yes.
So things have changed.
Yeah, no, and social media, at the Combine, the Senior Bowl, and the East-West. The East-West, I can still get away with it because it's not the same media-wise, not the attention. But scouts will tell me, "Hey, we got to go meet somewhere over here. I can't be in public because people take pictures, and I got a drink in my hand, and just they don't even want to be caught with a drink in their hand, dude."
Yeah. Camera phones have changed everything.
They changed dude. I used to talk to scouts and coaches and personnel directors at a strip club, bro. Yeah. I'm not kidding you. Sammy's in Mobile. That was one of the places that I would hit. And why? Because I know I saw coaches go into the champagne room with two girls. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whatever. To me, I got them in an environment where they could talk.
They were comfortable.
Yeah, they were super. Now you can't get them anywhere, and you forget about those kind of establishments. They will never be caught there again because camera phones are out and they're done. It just changed everything, dude.
I guess and it doesn't make it comparable. I'd rather have that situation where you can just have a meal with somebody, have a drink with somebody. But the one thing that's easier now is you could text people, which is you couldn't really do, 30, 40 years ago. So now you can just text somebody, but it's not the same. You want that face-to-face kind of interaction as opposed to just texting somebody.
Yeah, dude, it's not it's not the same. I used to when I go to the Combine, I used to smoke cigars every year with Tom Condon, who's one of the biggest NFL agents. And I would sit every Combine. We would always meet at the Olive, and we'd sit there for a couple of hours and bullshit and enjoy a couple of good cigars. And the cigars was a great way in for me for a lot of stuff, man, back in the day. That was really, really good. All right, so are the Heat lighting up cigars after their draft picks?
I mean, they filled some needs, right? And they added some different skill sets to the roster. They added obviously the 7-footer who's athletic, can shoot, has a nice touch around the basket, is a rim protector. They added and Kello Ware. Second round, they added a kind of an all-around, do-it-all shooter that is project as a quality 3-point shooter in the NBA, but also has athleticism. A 38-inch vert, big hands, can get to if he has some space, they close out on him hard, he can get to the basket. Kind of like I don't like comparing players, but kind of like a Max Strus almost, where he's a shooter, but he can do a little bit more. Bigger body, can guard probably both guard positions, maybe even some small wings. And then right away after the draft, they got those two-way contract players, Kashad Johnson, who's kind of a small ball 4, kind of in the Jay Crowder mold, big body, can shoot, can guard up. And then they add Zion Pullen from Florida, the guard, kind of more of a true point guard, can run an offense. So, and they'll keep adding undrafted guys here over the next, today, tomorrow, over the weekend to fill out the summer league roster. But the one thing I like is obviously they added talent, but they added different skill sets that really, I think most fans would say this roster needed some infusion of that. A big guy that could shoot, a big guy that's athletic, can play with Bam, guard, a shooter, and maybe a small ball 4.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Listen, for me, the way I kind of look at it, none of these guys are going to help out this year. So what it does for me, at least personally as a fan, now I'm more excited about summer league.
Yeah.
I trust these dudes. I trust that they're pretty good at drafting and they're exceptional at developing. So for me, that's what I'm excited about when I see these names. Not that I know anything about these guys, but I know enough about heat and heat development that I say, okay, now I have another reason besides Alondis and a couple of other guys to
Cole
watch.
Swider, yeah.
Right. Cole Swider and the other guy. There was one more guy, right? That you guys even wrote about. You wrote about it today.
Jamal Cain? No.
Yes, Jamal Cain.
I don't know if Jamal's playing in summer league this year. I know Cole and Alondis are. Jamal has played the last 2 years in summer league with the Heat, so I'm not sure if he's going to do a third year. That's still up in the air.
I love Jamal Cain, bro. I love Jamal Cain. I love his DNA. He is cut from a Heat cloth. He is a tough son of a bitch. I like that kid. There's an edge to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, I get to watch Summer League and watch all these new guys and see their development. And I'm going to now watch Sioux Falls now.
Yeah.
Because that's where these guys are going to be, though, with Sioux Falls and all that. So that's where it gives me some fun that I can actually extend my Heat watching. I always watch the Summer League. I'm always glued to the Summer League, but yeah, if you got somebody I can watch over on Sioux Falls, that's kind of the way it is because that's what this is all about. These are developmental players for down the line.
For the most part, I agree with you. I think Kalaware might get some minutes this season, right? Because they do need to get bigger, right? And I know Kevin Love likely will be back, but like we saw against Boston, Kevin Love can't play in every matchup. And Kalaware has a big body. If he could shoot, if he could just rebound, maybe he's not going to shoot 3 threes a game like he did, in college, but he could block shots, rebound, get some easy points around the basket. Maybe you play big with him and Bam together for certain small situations where, a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there. I think Kalaware is a guy that could get some playing time as a rookie.
Well, let's see first, right? Yeah. Let's see how he does first.
Sure.
I'm not. I don't want to put those kind of expectations on the kid. Plus,
he's gonna be an all-star. Big O. I'm kidding.
Little minutes here or there in the NBA does nothing for him. Actually, he really needs to play and develop his body too, because I'm sure he's going to have to.
Sure, he had some weight. Yeah,
he's going to have to add some weight, in the process. All right. Let's get to the meat of the matter. Jimmy Butler. He made a statement, not signing the extension with the Heat or anybody else, and going to go out to play a great year and all that kind of stuff. When I like cut through all the bullshit, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a guy that is going to take a very big risk, and so is the Heat by playing this year out because I don't know if he can, last. And it's almost like you're killing yourself to get that big contract so you can coast the rest of the way like you've been coasting in the regular season for the last 2 years. Because once you give them the guaranteed money, you're done. You can't control them anymore. And so to me, what Jimmy Butler said the other night puts the Heat in a terrible position. And if I'm the Heat, I'm moving off of Butler as soon as I can move off of Butler. I think keeping him is very risky, and I think it's not going to work out well because he knows that's why he has paced himself the last 2 years, because he knows his body can't hold up. And so all of a sudden we're going to expect him to go balls out in the regular season and have enough gas for the postseason next year. I wouldn't take that gamble if I'm the Miami Heat. So where do they go from here, and what do you think they'll end up doing?
I mean, it's tough, right? Because the fact that he says he's not going to sign an extension, obviously with the Heat or any other team, now he's an expiring contract pretty much, right? So what are teams going to offer if the Heat, and we have no evidence that they're shopping him. Actually, I've heard they're not shopping him in a trade. But if they were, let's say, talking to teams about trading Jimmy Butler, what would a team give up for an expiring contract, right? Probably not much. If you don't know if he's gonna be a free agent next year and wants to test free agency and test the market, you're probably not giving up much. So that hurts his trade stock, actually. The one positive that you could say for the Heat of all this is you're probably going to have a very motivated Jimmy Butler, right? Because he's going to have to play a lot of games. He's going to have to play very well, all-star level, to get a max contract next summer if that's what he wants and opts out. So you're going to get a motivator in Butler, but the information that we got a few days ago of him saying he's not going to sign an extension with the Heat or any other team, again, that basically means an expiring contract. And
okay, but hold on a second.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
So Philadelphia, as you know, our boy Pompey, I've
Right.
had him on the show, and he's reported they're ready to give him the extension. They'll give it to him. So if Philly calls and Morey says, no, I want him. Morey's a crazy son of a bitch. He'll trade. He traded for James Harden.
But what if Jimmy says, well, it's fine, you could trade for me, but I'm not signing an extension. I want to test for agency.
Oh, yeah. And there's going to be so many teams lined up ready to give Jimmy Butler $150 million at the age of 36 years old.
I'm not saying you're not wrong. I'm just saying that's what the stance
I'm trying to talk reality here.
Yeah, I'm just saying
there's a lot of hot air in the room right now, and it's coming from Jimmy Butler's camp.
So if you're the Heat, do you take a gamble and say, well, fine, if you want to opt out and try to get that max contract, good luck.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's going to have to opt in, right? But from what I've heard, at least this offseason, next offseason is another year later, another year older for Jimmy Butler. This offseason, there are teams interested in giving him that max extension, not just Philly. There are other teams.
I know Golden State and what was the other one? There's
probably a handful of teams out. So next summer, could that list be shorter? Could that list include no teams? I guess it's possible. But
so you're the Heat, you're going to take a risk that he's going to go injury-free the entire year in the postseason, so you can then re-sign him. Or if he does break down again, he won't get the contract. You won't get any compensation.
Right.
And then he opts in at the end of the year, and he screws you over for that final year. If you're the Heat, bro, how many times are you going to get screwed? I mean, LeBron and Bosch want to come, and it's like, no, we want to go, but you got to trade for us and give up first rounders. You screw your own team, Bosch and LeBron, because you could have come over just with the money straight up. But no, give up the first rounders. Those first rounders could have helped you out and built a team around you, which you didn't have in 2010. Then you've got Chris Bosch, who then takes a deal from Houston for less money. But then he says, in order for me to come back to you guys, the team that set me up for 2 titles, no, you got to pay me more. I mean, how many times, if you're the Heat, you got screwed with the Whiteside contract, with the Dion Waiters contract. I mean, I could just go on and on and on and on and talk about the disasters that have happened in the last 10 years.
It's kind of amazing.
You want to add more to the disaster, bro?
Yeah.
By the way, Kyle Lowry you traded for that deadbeat-ass contract? I mean, how many more mistakes are you going to make, Danny Granger?
Josh McRoberts?
Roberts, I mean, it just, bro, Eric Spoelstra it shouldn't have been Will Smith playing the genie. It should have been Eric Spoelstra playing the genie in the movie. Okay, because he's the real magician in the Miami Heat organization. It isn't the front office. They have dropped the ball many, 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 many times in the last decade. I love Riley. I love the Heat. I love the Arison family, but I call it like I see it on this show. And they have been a stumbling and a bumbling and a fumbling. And if it isn't for Eric Spoelstra saving their asses on a continual basis, and by the way, I found out he's not even the highest paid coach in the NBA. That's disgusting.
He has the biggest contract, total value of a contract. I think he might be the second highest behind Pop.
Third. He's behind Kerr and Pop, dude.
Kerr now? Okay, because Kerr signed after him. I guess so. What would you do? I mean, it's a tough situation, right? Like,
I would have traded him last year. You're all behind me a year, dude. You're all behind me a year. I'm sorry. I would have traded Xavier Howard 3 years ago after the 10 interceptions. You must get off the gravy train like Tyreek Hill.
Right.
After he has another 1,500 yards this year. Papa. Me voy, arranca.
But
it's over.
Last
Last
offseason, it was about Dame. Adding Dame to Bam and Jimmy.
Right.
Obviously, you're not trading Jimmy in that situation because you're trying to build a trio that could win a championship, right?
Right.
And Jimmy's coming off that, that run, that historic playoff run where they made the finals. He was turning the Michael Jordan for a few rounds, was great. I understand you saying, and I know you said that in the moment. You did say in the moment. I'm not saying you didn't say it. You said it. But that is that's tough to trade him right then and there.
But this is what Belichick used to do for many years, right? He would trade the player.
But basketball is different. Basketball is different. No? Where one player in the NFL doesn't have as much value as one player in the NBA.
I get that, but the idea of getting out on the top is a art.
For sure. Yeah.
Art.
Yeah.
And you've got to know when the hell to say when. You know what I'm saying? And right now I do know this, the front office is terrible at poker. Terrible at poker. They don't know when to get out. They don't know when to fold them. And they have been stuck with bad contract after bad contract. And this is a bad contract, by the way. It's already a bad contract. It was a bad contract this year. It was a bad contract last year too. It's just, you just said it. He had a 2-month run. He didn't have a whole year run. He doesn't help you in the regular season. He puts you into the play-in. That's not a star, dude. Stars play in the regular season and in the postseason.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have gotten injured. If he actually would have tried during the regular season, he doesn't get hurt right there in the postseason. And maybe, just maybe, you can surprise Boston again. You never know. But, my point is, dude, the wheels are falling off. At what point they have already, every time they try to get off, it's too late with the player. Are you going to do it again? So
well, that's why it appears the Heat is there doesn't seem like they want to give him the extension, right? Based on what Riley's comments were. So I think they might be with you at that, with what you're saying. But I don't know what you do in this moment, because again, like I said, he's basically an expiring contract. Are you just trading Jimmy just to get off of him at this point? Because you're not going to get much back for 1 year of Jimmy.
I don't believe that. I think Morey will give it to you because Morey knows he'll give him the contract. See, once you trade Jimmy to Philadelphia, and Jimmy knows that Philly's going to give him the money, he's not going to wait a year for that money and risk his failing body. Again, there's a lot of hot air in the building, and it's coming from Jimmy Butler's camp. He's full of shit. Okay, is what he is at this point in time.
As a fan, though,
absolutely full of crap that he's not signing an extension. You trade him to Philadelphia, and I guarantee you within a week, he signs that extension and everything is changed and he's all good and happy and all that. He's about the money, dude, at this point. Come on, man.
As a fan, Big O, because Philly really can't give you many players at this point. Based on the cap rules and all that, it's picks, and basically they can take them into space. So you cut off a lot of money off your salary cap, basically. But you're okay. You're taking a step back. You're taking a big step back.
No, I'm good with. See, okay. I'm tired of our spoiled Heat nation. Okay, because for 25 years, Pat Riley and company have been exceptional. Okay, and even in his B game right now, which is what I see the last 10 years, it's his B game, not his A game. Spoelstra has made wine out of water. Okay. It's just, he's just absolutely amazing. But I think you're at a point now and you have a group of young players, but you have no capital. So go get the capital with this trade and reset your team over the next year or two. And okay, you're not going to get the superstar right away, but now you have the picks to put it together over the next year or two. And in the process, you're developing all your young guys. Right. And also the young kid you just drafted, who will be more of a player next year with you in the process. So when you bring that star on, now you've got everybody around them and you bring a younger star in so you can have a longer run with the guys that you do have right now. I truly think that the Heat Nation has to learn that we need to take a couple of steps back in order to take 3 steps forward. But the only way to do it is capital. And the Heat have killed their capital for 10 years. That's what has stopped them. And now they have this whole, they're all drunken. I had one of the sales guys. Well, we're going to trade for Donovan Mitchell. I go, dude, you don't have enough ammo to trade for Donovan Mitchell. And so tons of teams.
I mean, that's been the same story off the past 3 years, basically. Yeah.
It's going to be exactly. That's my point.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I think they do need to make, whether Jimmy Butler or something else, they need to make a move to get more capital. They obviously don't have enough. I mean, you look at what, who's the one that just got traded right now? Mikal Bridges.
Yeah. Dude, look
Knicks scaled like 6 picks for him. I mean, he can't compete with that, obviously, you know? So they do need to somehow reload on picks, because after this year's draft, I think they have, unless they lift protections and other picks and all that, they have one unprotected pick they can include in the trade right now. One unprotected first-round pick. That's obviously not going to get it done for a guy like Donovan Mitchell or any other star. So,
and I don't understand Heat fans that come up to you and tell you, "Oh, we're going to get Donovan Mitchell, bro. What drugs are you smoking? What is wrong with you? How drunk are you? Are you hanging around with Joe Biden or something? I mean, what is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's nuts. And this is our Heat Nation, that they think these nutty things. And so that's why, for me, I would move on from Butler right away if I can. And Philly, Morey's the crazy SOB that would do it.
Well, we'll see. Let's see what they do with their cap space, right? Because if they can't get Paul George, they can't get other guys, then it might call Miami and be like, "Hey, sure you don't want to trade Jimmy Butler?"
Right.
You know, so we'll see.
Yeah. And by the way, nice nepotism there in LA land with Bronny. That's that guy wasn't even draftable. That's Shabazz Napier all over again. Draft him for me.
That's a testament to LeBron and the power he has earned in the NBA.
Has anybody learned that he's a terrible GM? I mean, seriously, dude. All right. Anyway, what do you got going on in the Herald so folks can check you out?
Yeah, obviously we have stories up, a ton of stories the last few days on all the picks. Khalil Ware, a couple stories on him and just how he fits, the Heat's vision for him. Pelle Larson, just more about him and what Adam Simon had to say about the pick yesterday. There's going to be an introductory press conference for Khalil Ware today, so I'll have another story on him this afternoon, and also just updating throughout the day all the undrafted guys signing with the Heat for Summer League, which starts in about a week and a half. So busy time.
You got it. There you go. Anthony Chiang. Follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chiang. Catch his work there at the Miami Herald. Anthony, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Thanks, all. Good catching up with you.
You got it, baby. Appreciate you. All right.